To the Supreme God, to my spiritual teacher, to all the spiritual teachers, holy masters, all the saints, holy angels, spiritual helpers, and all the great ones, we humbly invoke for your divine guidance, divine love, divine blessings, for illumination, for divine oneness, divine bliss, divine health, and divine protection. We thank you in full faith. So, welcome to class 7 of this season. It's really good to continue to keep doing these classes and also keep learning. Really very nice. So in the last few classes, we've covered a lot about surrender and acceptance and all of those things. So today, we do have some questions. And apart from that, I also wanted to share a little deeper about acceptance and its effect on us, and how mindful we'll have to be in terms of this acceptance. So I just wanted to share some um, different perspective about that. Okay. So typically, when we have any belief systems, okay, any limited belief systems, um, with respect to a pose, right? We are majorly all the time expecting something from that person, or expecting something from a situation, expecting something from life in general, expecting something like a desire fulfillment, right? We are always expecting something. Okay. So, what is this expectation? Why are we expecting something from somebody? It is again coming back to majorly a desire fulfillment only. So, in Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna says is desires, as long as you have desires, right, there is always a sense of lack. That means we always feel that we don't have something and we want something. And let me again re-insist that just by having knowledge, it really does not help. We have to force ourselves to put that knowledge into practice, right? Just that, let's say our mind knows something, but it is not enough, because the mind will constantly keep chattering this and that and all of that. But we tend to do whatever we want to do. Even if it's the intuitive message or whatever it is, we don't tend to follow it majorly because of lack of habits. So, unless we use that awareness mindfully and say, okay, yeah, this is the right thing to do, I will put it into practice and I will build upon this. Whatever it may be. See, it could be a person who may not even be spiritual, just in the material world itself, he should still use the same principle. See, the principles that we are using to grow in our life, even when whether it is spiritually or whatever it is still the same that a person who's non-spiritual also applies, because we are creatures of habit. And unless we have any kind of habit building in our life, anything that we are actually doing in our life majorly is because of habits. And how did we even get into that habits? Because something inspired us to keep doing it. Either we are going behind a desire, or somebody is forcing us to do, parents are forcing us to do. There is either it is a fear based habit, or it is a motivated intrinsic motivated habit, but we have developed certain habits in our life and we are constantly working on that. And even if we have to learn something new, we ensure that we do that consistently, so that we build that habit. So yeah, coming back to this expectation thing, right? So that it is always coming from a sense of lack. Sense of lack means we we in our limited mind think that if we get something, then we will be happy, because as of now we lack happiness. It is not like we are going behind a desire. We might be going behind a desire behind our children to make them do something. Even simple things like, why don't you keep your plate in the right place? that is also coming from a desire only. It is not, when people talk about desires, they only think about building, car, this, that. No, actually, when we talk about practical desires, no, some day to day, literally haunting desires that we have are coming from our day to day life only. Simple things like fold your clothes, just telling some things to people, fold your clothes, like just doing some fundamental things like that. Keep your plate in the right place. Why don't you answer when I talk to you? Or maybe things like, why isn't my child giving me respect? Or why are they going late to school? So all of these are desires only. And we may think that, at least we are, if we are, once we are on a spiritual path, we may think that we are not asking anything for ourselves. We are ensuring that our children follow the right path, and we want the best for them. So we are going to do our best to mother them, father them, or whatever it is, parent them, and give the right kind of education. And this may even, what do you say, get expanded to parents. If the in-laws are very lenient, maybe you will try that with in-laws also, and husband also, or maybe friends. Forget about friends, we also go on a road and then try to correct people. So that is where desire is. It is like a subconscious thing. We don't even know that we are actually doing it out of sense of lack. Okay, this is the desire. And now that we have a desire, and then we have now expressed the desire to, towards somebody, what do? We have to now fulfill that desire. So what we do, we go and then execute that. We go and try to do something, execute some action to fulfill that desire. Now, if the desire is not getting fulfilled, we are sad, we are unhappy. And but yeah, before we even, why did we even go to fulfill that desire, get the desire fulfilled? Because we have certain expectations that they will follow what I say, or situation or POSC will accordingly act in my favor, and I will get what I want, and I will be happy.
But
That is the
Smita, I
expectation.
want to ask you something. Is
Yeah.
it desire or is it we want to control? So many people want to control others.
Why do you want to control?
Why?
Again, that is
Yeah.
coming from a sense of desire only, no?
Oh,
Desire to see, if we are fully contented, why will you control others? Again, there is a sense of lack. I don't have enough power within me. That is also desire only. A desire to want something, to achieve something, to there is a portion of you that is missing. You feel that there is something missing in your life, and you have a desire to basically complete that. That's all. It's not nothing more than that. There is, the human being is always searching for homeostasis, or that sense of wholeness, or that sense of completion. And we are constantly thinking that our wholeness depends on this that is immediately in front of me. So it is always coming from a sense of lack, or that sense of incompleteness. And we go and then go try to fulfill that. So this is expectation. And then we go behind that. If they, of course, don't agree, don't fulfill that, whatever happens, and then either we are angry, we are, and if it gets fulfilled, we are going running behind, asking for more. Let's say your child did some work. Now, let's say she kept the plates in the right place and all of those things. Now you say, because there is so much of piled up lack, no, that the child is not doing this, not doing that, not doing this, not doing. So there is a sense of piled up lack. You will try to fit in one more desire under that,
But
right? We are
Smita, how it is desire to advise the kid to do their duty?
actually, if you ask me, I mean, just from just for the discussion perspective, are you following everything that your parents have taught you?
Not following, but they are also advising us na ki to do this
But are you
certain.
following that?
Not completely,
Even when you were a child, were you fully following what your parents were saying?
not
No.
completely.
So, but aren't you basically living your life,
Yeah,
right or wrong? You're living your life. Whatever
yeah.
experiences are there, everything is there. You're married and kids and management, everything is there. So, like this, we must understand that whatever we may have learned from our parents, we may not see when we are with our parents, unless the soul is very, very high consciousness soul or something like that, there is no, what do you say, enough awareness to fully grasp what the parents are saying. And that by the time that full higher consciousness comes enough to basically take over, that it is they are majorly out of their teens, maybe out of the house also, and they are on their own, maybe even during marriage. I'll give you an example. um, this is basically one story that from Raghavendra Swami's let's say miracles. Some couple did not have a child. So they did a lot of seva, and somebody basically told them that such and such a person in Mantralayam will help them get a child, go do seva. So, and he will look like this and all of that. And then they did not know anything about such things. So, but this saint is there in Mantralaya. But then once somebody said that there is a saint who has come to their place. So they came, they went and they'll go and see the saint, and he looked like the same person with orange clothes and all of that. Then he'll say, oh, they'll say, you are only that saint. Somebody had told us in our astrology, or some astrologer has told us that this is going to happen. So we will do seva to you only. What seva we'll have to do? Then he'll tell, no, no, I am not Raghavendra Swami. He is in the Vrindavana. He is basically in Mantralayam. Go and meet him. Go and do seva to him. They'll say, no, 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 you look like that only. We will do seva to you. Then he will tell so much, but that this couple will not agree. But so he'll think that, okay, maybe through me, Raghavendra Swami wants to get these two people to do seva. So he'll tell something, and then they'll do seva and all of that. With lot of Shraddha, Bhakti and all that they do. And then they'll eventually have a child. Okay, now haven't they had a child? So they with great blessings from saints and all of that. Yeah, now they have a child. But turns out that child is absolutely not at all diligent in his life. Not at all bothered about anything, very careless, all of that. It takes, I mean, by the time he actually gets to that sense of seriousness, they'll even get him married thinking that he'll get serious. Those days, no, there used to be these rules. Okay, yeah, he doesn't have any responsibility in his life. He'll understand the sense of responsibility if we get him married. So they used to do that. So he got married also. Then also no response, the sense of responsibility did not come. The sense of duty mindedness did not come. All that did not come. And by the time I think he was from 24 or 25 years old, then some old Brahmin basically shouts at him saying, you are a waste body and you have no sense. You are just eating food and you're living like an animal. I mean, somehow those were the transformative words that he had in his life. And from then onwards, his path totally changes, and he realizes that he has wasted his whole life till now. And then he goes into the spiritual path, and he goes so deep into the spiritual path that he also becomes a dasa. They call him dasa, one who is totally surrendered to this, let's say Kabir Das and all of that, something like that. Tulsi Das, Kabir Das, Purandara Das, all of those people, he becomes like that, and then he attains mukti and all of that. So basically, what I'm trying to tell is everybody has a divine timing for some kind of transformation. In his case, there may have been a great transformation for him to become a saint person like that. In our life, we may probably be having small, small transformations, but there is definitely a transformation. But what I'm trying to tell is every person will go through that. Like in my life, I was not even having any spiritual apart from doing namaskaram to God because my mother is forcing me. I didn't really have too much of inclination to do all of that. Even when my mother was a total liberal, I didn't have. And even when my mother-in-law was a total orthodox person also, I didn't have. I just did it for the sake of it. And my turnaround point came sometime after marriage and sometime after my second child, that too. And and it was a series of events, and then I sort of went into that, and today I'm like this. So, and whatever I am, my parents also could not grasp, because for them also it was all new, and to that extent, people can change. So what I'm trying to tell is, you be focusing on being a good mother. And being a good mother doesn't always mean that you are giving gyan to them. You have to live by those principles that you're teaching. And it is not just do hard work, this, that, it should be to live those principles of energetic principles that we are talking about. Live the principle of truth, live the principle of swadharma. Swadharma means doing your own duties without anybody, like whether somebody likes it or no, it doesn't matter. You are just following your duty because God is going to be happy with that. Because you will fail God if you don't do that. If you're answerable, if you're feeling that you're answerable to God, then you will do it, whether people like it or no, whether your husband likes it or no, whether your children like it or no. And you won't care whether they actually listen to you or no, whether they are following you or no, whether they are on the spiritual path, whether they are eating junk food because you ask them not to eat. It really does not matter, because for you, God being happy is far more important. See, like that, we actually fail in all our duties like that also. We are not authentic in our life. See, all said and done, no, we are not even in a stage where we even behave like a human being. Trust me, we are all in Lanka as of now. You can call it Lanka, you can call it, I'm not talking about Sri Lanka, I'm talking about Lanka, the place of Ravan. Okay, we are all sitting there as of now. Energetically, we are all sitting there. We have lots of qualities which does not even qualify us to be a human being as of now, because we have so much of selfishness. I mean, start with expectations, start with desires itself. A human being is more like a 5D personality, not God. Okay, angelic and all of that is more than 5D, but I'm talking more about 5D personalities are more like humans, where they are living all the core principles of Swadharma: total duty mindedness, absolute devotion and bhakti to God, absolutely live and let live kind of policies. They all know that everybody is a soul, and then, I mean, there is absolute purity in your heart. I mean, we are not like that. Let's accept we are not like that, which is why we have so much of desires. We come from a sense of lack. All the demons are coming from a sense of lack. So even though we may look like polished human beings, we have a human being body. I mean, demons did not have any, like they show in serials and all that. No, they did not have any like odd personality. I mean, odd looking features. They just looked like human beings only. But they had all these Kali like qualities within them. And we are also not far away, because we are living in Kali Yuga. And see, Kali Yuga and all of those yugas, right? It's more based on our personality traits. And in my opinion, we are still there. We have not seen the worst to be able to even surrender to God. We are still talking about going towards Ram. Okay, we have not even become that Vibhishan who is like constantly doing Ram's bhakti, even in living in even by living when he's living among the demons. Let's say we are living in one. Let's say around us there is at least in that period, no, there the personalities were completely different. In the same mind, there never used to be a demonic personality and a human personality. It was not very common. That is why they say in Kali Yuga, everybody has a mixed personality. And those days there used to be different varnas, which means a kshatriya was different. A Brahmin was not defined based on his birth. It was defined based on his, what do you say, the inner qualities. And a kshatriya was based on again his inner qualities. A Vaishya who was running the business of the community, and then a Shudra who was more service minded. Today we have a mixture of all of these things. So those days, if you are such a person, then you had a very specific duty. You had a very specific duty, and your duty was meant to serve God while doing those duties. That was how you were measured. Today, I mean, we are all mixed. We have got mixed up into this whole Varna system itself. Why? Because in between this transition period, people have, what do you say, got married left, right, and center with all kinds of personalities. And the progeny or the child that was born from every single couple obviously had a mix of all of the traits. And then it was also such that one person married many, many, many people. And those days, ladies were mostly a birthing machine. So we have sort of got mixed up, and our Swadharma today is sort of mixed up. We play so many different roles. We are going to the office. We are also being servants at home, doing our own housework. We are also doing wife work. We are also doing mother work apart from that. So we are not, and we are also doing business. Some of us are doing business also, like, I mean, earning money types. And I mean, I don't know, we have a lot of mixed personalities, but what I can always say is we have to just be, at least from a common sense perspective, if your inner voice is telling you this is wrong, don't do it. At least to that extent we have to follow, but we are not even there yet. Even if our inner voice is saying don't say, don't shout back at them, don't shout back at them, but there is always that inner lack, that inner craving for desire to go and shout back and then see that sadistic pleasure, right? You'll go and shout back. It's okay, even after that, you'll repent, all that, you'll feel guilty, all that is there, but you'll still go back. And I mean, that voice will be telling you, all that knowledge in your head will be saying, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. It's okay if they disrespect you. You don't have to go, and then you don't have to be the same person. You just go and win your mind. Don't win the personality in front of you. All that is you're telling, but then ultimately we go ahead and do it. I mean, so many examples. You can actually reflect back on your life. So trust me, we are not even human beings yet. We don't have those qualities yet. So which is why we have to take all of these what do you say, some of the principles that we are talking about with a pinch of salt. Not these principles, but when I say, when I say we have to learn to be obedient, we'll have to learn to be a servant to God. We'll have to learn those kind of qualities. Keep God first. Because first of all, to get out of a demonic kingdom, you need to know who's your king. Who do you want to go to? Which side do you want to go to? If that itself is not clear, first go towards God. I mean, look for that highest energy that you want to go to on the opposite side, which is God. I mean, in duality, we need to learn how to live duality first, right? So first, learn to choose God. If we are still living in the demonic kingdom and still trying to satisfy our own pleasures and pains and all of those things, then we will never get out of the kingdom itself. We'll have to cross to the other side, no? So we need to know. So when we are constantly thinking about God, God will come with a boat and then take us in his boat towards the other side. But first we need to become eligible, no? If we don't call him enough itself, if we don't talk to him enough itself in our mind, if we are not even doing anything for his happiness, I mean, we need to start showing those qualities that I am worthy of living like a human being, no? Like his instrument. All human beings are his instruments because they are absolutely using their intellect to serve God. And intellect is getting absolute knowledge from God. And they are only focusing on God. And when that love for God becomes so much, then that bhakti will come within. See, unless we are obedient, unless we are servant, like, no, we will constantly keep running this side and that side, trying to satisfy what we want. Tell me if you have a servant at home, if she's constantly trying to fulfill her own desire while working for you, will you like her? Let's say cook, let's say she's a cook and you asked her to make chapati. Now she says, no, I like to make upma, because I don't like to eat chapati every single day. What will you do? You'll say, hey, I'm paying you. You better follow what I'm telling you. Take office setup. If you're doing what you're told, you should just give up those likes and dislikes first. Because First of all, your goal has to be very clear. My goal is God. If your goal is not clear, you can do whatever you want unless goal becomes clear. Whether you, I mean, obviously living in a demonic kingdom is not keeping you happy. Maybe now I mean, there are so many demons who don't want to, who don't even have this desire to even go on the other side. Yeah, it's okay. They are living their life. Whatever they are living, good or bad, without knowledge, whatever, it's okay. Many of us are living our lives. No questions there. But then for people who have now understood there is another side, there is God, and it is good to go on the other side, there is little bit of knowledge that we've got. So our goal has to be very clear, no, that that is what is my goal. So unless our goal is very clear, where is the even desire to go to that place? The desire for God is very much necessary. If there is no desire for God, no, then we will never go there towards Him. And I told in one of the posts also that the higher consciousness is all about quality of living in every aspect of our life. Quality of living, not just for us, quality of experiences, quality of pose, highest quality of pose comes. Pose will come, pose will keep coming, but quality will be very, very high. And the more you go towards that state, it is going to get better and better and better. And even if the pose is coming to you with, let's say, a challenging experience, you will have a great clarity to actually handle it. So that is all a very nice kind of lifestyle. So, but if we have to get out of where we are as of now, we have to first follow some fundamental rules, which is to give up the desire to constantly trying to please ourselves. Forget about desire for maybe anything, but whenever we are mindful, at least let's look upon that. And if you're able to understand what is the right thing to do, and what you do will please God, let's try to follow that. Because our journey is so long, it's going to be long because we are not willing to give up. Somebody asked, right, who 24, I don't know her name. So she asked, why are we constantly stuck in this loop? If God wants us to get to that highest point, why are we like in loop all the time in these birth and death cycles? We are in loop not because of God. We are in loop because of interference with God, interference with POSEs. God is already giving us the POSEs to recalibrate, to clean ourselves and all of that. But we are getting in, our willpower is based on whether we are going to react or respond. Respond means you are fully understanding and coming from knowledge. And it says don't react, because there is no use of fighting, there is no use of shouting at a person, there is no use of giving yarn to a person who doesn't want it. All of that is very important. So which means you should know which is the argument that you'll have to do, which is that fighting that you'll have to do, which is that, all of that we have to know. And even when your mind is saying fight, 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 or yell, 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 you should not do it. I mean, it will initially it will all be in the mind level, but over a period of time, if you keep choosing that path, the mind will also become silent, because the mind is such that it it only does what it is frequently used to, which is a habit. So mind is not totally motivated by knowledge, it is totally motivated, and it goes with where habits have been constantly built. But if a person is going by that, what intellect is saying, this is the right thing to do it, because intellect is a discriminatory capability it has. It is saying this is the right thing, this is the wrong thing, don't do it, that kind of thing. So common sense only, we all have a lot of common sense. That common sense itself is more than enough. So if we are able to basically follow that common sense, it may be different level for both of all of us, but at least whatever common sense, if we are able to follow, be at least try to become towards that good human being. If you are able to go on that path, follow the principles of truth, follow the principles of doing the right things, whatever may be your right thing, do it. Don't listen to your mind. If it is craving to do something nonsense, then try to say, no, I can't follow you because my goal is something else. We are on the path where we are building new habits. So I'm going to continue to teach you how to build that new habit. And what is that new habit? Keep watching. In fact, you should tell your mind, I'm not going to follow you, because this is not the right thing to do. So coming back to these expectations, right? So we have these expectations that certain things have to happen in front of us, and then what I'm trying to tell you here is they when we have certain expectations in our mind, we are saying it's like going to a shopkeeper and saying, hey, can you give me 1 kg of rice, and I'm going to give you let's say 100 rupees. It is exactly going to work like that. If you're asking something from the cosmos, what are you willing to trade for it? So typically it is going to be, so money, when you talk about money, why are you not giving some stones to the shopkeeper? Because money has value, right? Stones don't have value. So what is valuable within you that they will accept? It is always those merits that you've earned, which you went with those merits, with some good deeds, with some good doing, with some good whatever, let's say high vibrational work, you went to higher frequencies, right? Now, if you say, I want this in my life because I want certain temporary happiness because I'm expecting this from you, kind of thing, what they will ask you in exchange is is that, I'll call it punya. Okay, I'll call it punya. Those are those merits that you've earned to basically step up or grow to higher consciousness. You have to trade it with that. Are we even aware of that? We have so many expectations on a day-to-day basis. Where are we draining all our energies? With all of these only. Lots of expectations. The more expectations we have, so much more drain. Yeah, I'm meditating every day. I'm doing puja every day. I'm doing this every day, that every day. Yeah, okay, fine. Some vibrations came in. Chanting every day. But where did all that disappear? I still feel like I'm having the same life. So it is one of the energy vampires. Your expectation is one of the energy vampires. And those are also something that you are trading it with your high energy, which means you are willing to step down when you ask for something. Now, there are two possibilities. When you ask something from somebody or from some situation, I'm expecting this, I'm expecting, let's say, it should not rain today. I'm expecting that it should not rain today. I mean, take some simple things like that also. Or let's say I'm expecting my child to listen to me today. Something like that. Simple things we are willing to trade. I'm just telling you examples. So what are the two possibilities? It can happen. Somebody will fulfill your request or somebody may not fulfill your request. So if they fulfill your request, typically, since it's a desire oriented request, the fundamental rule says that wherever there is expectations, there is always sadness. So they might fulfill it, but maybe you will still be dissatisfied, but at least you'll compromise, because it's like, let's say you gave 100 rupees for a fine quality rice, but they gave you something with some worms. You'll say, okay, fine, there is no rice. Okay, fine. At least they gave me rice with some worms. I'll settle for it. It's like that. Okay. The other possibility is he will you will shout at him for not having rice, and then he will again feel bad that you're shouting at him, which means, let's say you asked your child to do something and the child did not do. She said, no, I don't have time, and then she walked away. And then you are shouting at her saying, I'm working in the house all day, and then you are not doing this, you are not doing that. Okay, you shouted. What energy did you create inside? A negative energy you created inside. First of all, you dropped down in frequency because you traded. As soon as that intent for expectation itself comes now, as soon as you have that desire to, I want this, so I'm going to start taking the next steps to go towards it. As soon as one intention came, then you started, one thought followed, then one emotion, yeah, nice, it'll be nice if they do it. That emotion followed, then you started taking action on that. Okay, all that started. No, as soon as that started itself, you have now put that punya on the gambling table. It is already there on the table. That's it. Now there are two possibilities. It's like gambling. You can win or you can lose. if you win also, there is always another desire to go back into the gambling game. Something like that. So like they might listen, but they will do only little. They'll probably crib and then do it. Then you'll say, why should you crib and do it? Yeah, when you're doing it, do it right. Do it with a full accepting mindset itself. Why are you giving half-hearted work like this? All that you might actually feel inside, and you might feel bad. Cha, why do they crib and all and do? Do I crib? I don't crib. No, I am doing my work sincerely. Why can't they also do their work sincerely? All that will come in your head. So which means again you're in your negative energy. First of all, you put your punya on the table. Again, because of that, what they could not give you properly, the first option, again you lost it, because that obviously by formula itself it comes with a sense of if it is like if you are trying to get it, you'll also lose some more money, kind of thing. Okay, that first option they will do, but you'll also get some more sadness from that. So you lost again some more there. Okay, you dropped down in frequency there also. Now let's take the second option. There they are not, you are not at all getting it from them. That's a dead investment. And you are even more angry because you didn't get anything from that. After going with that expectation, you will now think, see, by the time you've already dropped so much frequency, right? So that frequency will also affect you. See, I told you, right? As soon as you keep dropping into negative frequencies, you will obviously be affected by the frequency bands that are coming in, the frequency, emotional frequencies that are coming in that band. Let's say you shifted from this band to this band. In this band, there will be lower frequencies. And these lower frequencies will start to, what do you say, attack you. And remember that we are still in the demonic kingdom, right? So there are lots of entities that we also become prey to. There are lots of parasites. There are lots of, let's say, we are not alone in in these realms, the third dimensional realms. We are not alone. There are lots of other, let's say, earthbounds, people with subtle bodies who have still stayed back on earth. Lots of such lower entities are still here around us. Unless we are constantly working towards going towards higher vibrational state, we are also impacted by those, not just those what do you mean by those frequencies? It is not just those frequencies, those entities or those demonic personalities that are living those frequencies, like embodying those frequencies. So what they do, they will take advantage of us, and then more thoughts will come in that angle, more anger will come. All of these are a given. So that is why Bhagavad Gita and other books, take any Shastras for that matter, they will say, don't expect anything. The very first rule that we are talking about in this class is do your duty without any expectations. Why should you not expect? Because of all of these things. Because you are always going to be the loser and you will always drop to lower frequencies. Now, when your goal is God, why should you trade your higher merits for getting some temporary happiness? That plus, like I explained, there is no guarantee also that you're going to gain completely. It's like you're investing in something, there is no guarantee that you're going to get returns also. So why should we invest? We are investing because, like a gambler, what does a gambler do? He goes into the game, he loses, but you will see that he is going back again into the game because there is a new hope within him that he will win this time. But he's already lost so many times. But this time again, there is a new hope that he'll win. This time also he'll lose. Again, he'll go back. So people who gamble always are in their bankruptcy mode most of the time, isn't it? So that is what expectation, deeper meaning of expectation is that. And it is so deep that we should make sure that our desire for the goal is so strong that we are willing to say, I don't need this. Because let's say today you go and ask, let's say you go and ask some pose, I want this from you, some expectations. Or take children only for that matter. Typically we have this thing that, okay, dear God, please give my child this help my child win, get some job, help my child, let's say, get in good college. Okay, we are constantly going from door to door, Baba to Baba, or God to God, temple to temple. We are going and doing some begging. Typically, most of us do it. So now let's say, in that case, I told you, right, that in that Raghavendra Swami's case itself, Raghavendra Swami is like I mean, he's an enlightened personality. For all who don't know, he is Prahlada, who was the child who appears in that Narasimha avatar story, right? When Lord Narayan incarnated as Lord Narasimha, the child, the hero child who was called Prahalada, he was the son of Hiranyakashipu, the demon who Lord Narasimha kills. Okay, so people like him only. I mean, he is somebody who I can't even talk about. That kind of great personality he is, and he is not somebody who does miracles for the sake of it. I'll give you an example. So, yeah, with his thing only, there was one child who was born. Now, whole life, those parents were not happy until the age that he was 24 or 25. He was absolutely useless to the society. Now, imagine the plight of those parents. They asked for one desire to be fulfilled. Now, there are so many personalities that you actually want to be fulfilled now in any POSC. Will you settle with one? With when one, let's say, for example, let's say you want him to get a job. Now, let's say somebody did some God's grace or whatever, you got a job. You went to a temple, you did something, and somehow, let's say, by hypothetically, the son got a job. Now, there are so many, let's say, 10 more other things that you're unhappy about. Now, what about those? Again, you'll come and put application for one more. Now, let's say that is also fulfilled. You'll come and put application for one more. So, what does it mean? It means that we have a tendency to be dissatisfied about somebody. We have this tendency to be expecting somebody to be in a certain way so that they give us happiness. So, who is at fault? We are at fault. Because there is no, in this world, everything is imperfect only. There is nothing called perfection. Only God is perfect. So in an imperfect world, where are we looking for perfection? So there was once one episode where, Hina, can you please go on mute? So there was an episode in my life where I applied this principle, and in one of the cases where I had to go and then expect something from my child. I decided, why am I expecting that from her? Because if I'm expecting that, like, I am always constantly, let's say, I'm in a dilemma when I'm doing my seva or when I'm doing my puja or something, to do it without any desires. But there is always the mind that is constantly telling, hey, ask this, ask this, ask this. Because wherever there are attachments, no, it'll ask. But then I constantly tell myself, no, no, no. Why should I not ask that? Why should I not ask for all those small, small things that the mind is asking me? I'll tell all of these things. Because if I ask also, no, they are not perfect human beings. I'm sure there is another trait that is going to become predominant that I don't like. And that is also going to start bothering me. And then the mind will say, hey, that is bothering me, that is bothering me. I'll just give you an example. Let's say, for example, the child is not studying. Now you will have this constant desire that they'll study, they should study, they should study, they should. Now let's say they started studying. Now they started studying, but they are not studying as per the principles that you want them to study. Maybe they're studying only in the end moment. They're not studying consistently throughout the every day and all of that. Now you're dissatisfied about that also. Now you'll say, God, please help me, let them become consistent. Now let's say that studying part became consistent, but now let's say they have bad friends. Now you're worried, oh my God, bad friends, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. And then you are worried about that also. And then there typically maybe one more intercaste issues. And then there, I mean, what I'm trying to tell is we won't stop with one. when we go behind expectations, no, we won't stop with one, which is why in Bhagavad Gita, no, they say the tree of desires has is like a big branch. It's like an upturned tree. In the 10th chapter that comes. It's like an upturned tree. Its branches are so huge. It is spread so huge that there is no end to it at all. So you have to tell yourself that if I expect, if I'm running behind a certain desire for my children, if they are not, I mean, why is this expectation mania that has come into us? Because the child is not basically listening to us, following us, or whatever it is. Why is that? Because we have not earned that kind of personality in our life who's probably going to listen to us yet. In future, they may listen when you're doing sadhana or whatever. When you go to higher frequencies, you may get such a child. Like let's say Bhakta Markandeya, then Shravana Kumara. I mean, what kind of personalities they were? They were literally, and Shravana Kumara, we all know that story, right? Where his parents were blind and he used to carry them. Their final or their death wish was they were dying apparently, and then they wanted to visit all the uh, places. What they call that term? Tirtha Kshetras. I mean, he literally carried them in a basket. Not even 1% of Shraddha we have as of now. So when we have not been that kind of a child, how can you expect our child also to be that kind of a child? Tell me. Do we even deserve it? We don't deserve it. I mean, literally, we don't deserve such children because we have not been such children. So that acceptance must first come into us that, hey, I am not that kind of child. So why am I even going and asking for a BMW when I can only afford a Maruti 800? See, this kind of thing has to come into your mind, realizations. Otherwise, you'll run behind expectations. You'll run behind. We'll call ourselves Mahatvakanshis, which means we are not even deserving it, but we are running behind all these deserves. So first of all, we don't deserve such personalities, such children. I mean, at least I'm looking for myself. So wherever I feel that there is a lack, it is because definitely I was also like that. I can clearly see my personality as a child in many situations. So that is one. And one more area that I wanted to bring to your attention is when we go through this expectations and all of that, right? POSC is there. POSC is definitely a soul who is still also on this path to self-realization and all of that. God has done this matchmaking so that they bring in front of us a certain situation, experience, behavior, and all of that. And we are seeing that through our eyes, and it is getting, that experience is getting filtered into our subtle bodies, and then we are making some interpretations. Okay, that is the way we are, which is why we say the world is our mirror, means that physical person is not your mirror. That physical, what you see in that physical person, what you interpret in that physical person, that is your mirror. Okay, it is not their face or something, it is not their body. It is more about the personality that you see, the experience that you see, all of that is more a mirror. Because if somebody else looks at them, they will probably think something else. If I look at them, they will think something. So it is getting filtered through your belief systems, no? So which is why it is calling itself a mirror. So when we look at them and now you shouted at them, or you felt that you felt negative energy, no, when you did expectations and all that. Option one, you had some negative energy. Option two, more negative energy. And overall also negative energy because you dropped down in frequency, right? If anybody is not clear about that, I'm going to build on that. So let me know if you have any doubts. Okay, clear. So what will happen there is you shouted at them. Now they are going to see you and they will feel bad. What did you do? No, you actually gave that negative energy into the cosmos by that sadness, or by the disappointment, or by the dissatisfaction or helplessness, or shouting back or anger, whatever you gave, no, you gave back into the cosmos, no, they will receive it from their own filters. And if they feel bad, if they are that Sthita Pragna type where they are absolutely still yogi like, they absolutely unaffected by what you're saying, then it will pass. But if they are also affected by what you are saying, you are going to continue that cycle, which means they will come back to give you that experience. You will come back to take that experience. Because energy has been exchanged in a improper way. There is no true energy exchange. There is no, what do you say, divine energy exchanges there. It has always been a limited energy exchange, negative energy kind of thing. So you are now giving another reason for your family to reincarnate. See how much of loss there is there in this whole expectation business. It is not just great personal loss for you, it is also you're creating a potential for a great personal loss for somebody else. Putting you are putting an obstacle in their self realization also. It is a huge, so this is why we go through diseases and all that, because we have to pay back that penalties that we have given in terms of messing with the cosmos, cosmic balance. And only demons mess with cosmic balance. Devatas know what is the right thing and they don't mess with the cosmic balance. At higher realms, there is always a sense of stability. In lower realms, there is no stability because we have not even earned that eligibility yet to become stable. Which is why we need to push our mind to become more obedient, not run behind all these temporary pleasures. Temporary pleasures of making the pose, do this, do that, getting temporary pleasures from that. We can't. We need to, even if there is no temporary pleasure, we need to work towards thinking that, okay, once I need to keep going towards God. Once I get God, then there's nothing like it. I mean, as you walk towards God, as soon as you're in His boat itself, you are going to feel divine. Until then, there is no peace. Keep doing something at least to change, to work on that personality. So, hence, acceptance is very important. Expectation means you are not accepting what you already have, you want more. You think that you don't have something, but actually, you already have, but there is a misunderstanding. What you have, what you're eligible for, Maruti 800. That is the experience you deserve, you got it. Why? Because this is what we mess with the cosmos, all the energies that we have been messing it for so many months, for so many lives, we've been messing with expectation, running behind our likes, running behind our dislikes and all of that, no? So it is very important to do the duty without actually using your mind. I mean, mind in the sense running behind monkey mind. It just wants to do what it wants. It wants comfort. See, demons want comfort. Which is why Lanka was like an amazing place. It was, I mean, when in Sundarkand, if you actually go and then hear about Lanka, you'll be shocked. The kind of luxury they had, the kind of, what do you say, comforts that they had. And they were enjoying. That was their personality, they were enjoying. I'm sure we are somewhere in midway, neither here nor there kind of thing. So we neither want that path, but we are not even still yet willing to go towards God. So somewhere we need to make a choice. And as much as possible, we need to teach our mind why doing the right thing is very important. We may fail, it's okay to fail because of lots of habits that we already have, being a demon for many, 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 many lives. But we need to keep teaching our mind. See, they say, no, if your child, like, I mean, in the Upanishads and all, like, Upanishads are no. But typically, when people talk about it, they give this example of a medicine. Although I'm not too much into medicines, they say that you have to keep giving the bitter pill for a person who is a bhogi and has become a rogi. Why? Because they have always been running behind sweet stuff, tasty stuff, which is why they became a rogi. Now you have to learn, you have to teach them how to be okay with bitterness. Then while they are okay while that bitterness is being accepted, that acceptance and that surrender to the bitter pill itself will make you receptive for higher knowledge, which is to surrender, to be accepting, and all of those things. Then you'll start to go to higher frequencies, and then in that state you'll not probably learn to be a bhogi. You'll probably learn to balance your lifestyle. You'll learn to eat right, all of that. So hence disciplining yourself, which is why sham and dam and all of that is the first two principles of Ashtanga Yoga. So what I told you today is something that I realized while I was constantly introspecting on some of these things. I realized that there is so much of loss behind expectations. So and for me, I want to really, my goal for moksha is very serious. When I get, who knows, God knows. I mean, at least the more serious, it's serious. Unless we are serious about it, we will not be willing to trade it for all of these things. I'm willing to trade it for not running behind my children, for getting some desires fulfilled. It is okay. I can live with it. It is okay if they don't do these XYZ, XYZ. It's okay if they don't listen to me. It's okay if, I mean, they're all old teenagers and all of that. So it's okay if they don't listen to me. It's okay if they don't follow maybe my lifestyle habits. It's okay. I'm willing to be okay with that, which is where surrender comes. Surrender means I'm okay to accept all of these outcomes because I'm willing to leave it on God. Leave it on God means I'm okay with whatever their lives turn out to be, because there is always a soul guide, there is always a guardian angel, or whatever it is, their gurus, their teachers are all in their subtle realm, constantly helping them. Plus, they already have a soul plan. Plus, their own higher self is bringing them all of these experiences, poses, and all of that. We are literally being watched by thousands of eyes. Thousands of personalities are already watching us. So we are led, we are given that instruction, we are constantly fed the right things to do. So I'm saying that be willing to look beyond those expectations, be willing to sacrifice those expectations, because it's not going to help. There is so much of loss. There is no benefit at all. Even if you get something because you won some gambling match, you will become a personality who will go back to gambling and lose that also. So it is like gambling. Expectations is like gambling. Running behind your likes and dislikes is like gambling. You will definitely go down in frequency, because in the universe, if you're going towards seeking pleasure from anything negative, a negative path, which is adharma, then you will be trading it for with your punya or your higher merits, which actually took you to a higher state. Which is why people who are like this Hiranyakashipu, or let's say Kamsa, or even Ravan and all of that, initially they did not get killed by God. They did not get killed by Krishna. They did not get killed by Rama. They did not get killed by anybody. They got killed when it reached the peak, which means there was no punya left at all in their basket. They had traded it with everything for all these pleasures. So it is very important that just because we have a human body, don't think that you have not been a demon. Demonic qualities are all within us. If we are trying to put water to grow those demonic qualities within us and be a demon for all of these sadistic things that we have, we will obviously be like them. And then God says that Ananya Shintayanto Ma Yejana Paryupasate Tesham Nityabhyuktana. No, not that. Uh, परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. Okay, he's saying that if you become that kind of personality, I am going to come and then literally kill it from you. What? I mean, that is where our diseases are, right? We have become so diseased that he is going to come to us if at all there is a healing path. If at all maybe we have that, if he sees potential that we are going to turn around, we have that discipline with us, we have that that surrendering nature within us, then he will give us an opportunity to go and then become a new leaf. Maybe give us some natural healing path, give us some path, whatever path, yoga path, whatever path you choose, whatever you resonate with. But if you are not that personality who is willing to change, because the ego has become so demonic, so huge, like a big fat thing, it will not change. When it doesn't change, he's going to kill. He's going to kill the body itself. So, this path that we are constantly going, right? It is only going to take us lower and lower and lower. And in the lower realms, there is no clarity. You may have knowledge. The knowledge is in the memory, so it is there. But you won't have clarity to apply that knowledge. And you won't have the presence of mind to apply that knowledge. And it's a panic state. You want to get out of that state, but you don't know how to get out of the state. You don't have the, what do you say, that determination, willpower, that thing to sit in one place and do chanting or do anything to get out of that state. How will you earn that higher energies that you lost? Suddenly, how will you learn? So there is no earning. There is no earning capability in the demonic world. It is only losing, losing, losing only. There is no job where you can get to earn. Because do you see temples? Do you see people who are sitting and doing puja, doing yoga, sorry, doing all these meditations, doing sitting and doing any of these dharmic activities? Nobody does. Nobody does. Which means in our head, we have gone to that kind of place. It is important that we are awake while we have the realization when not. That is why Maya, they say, will give you knowledge. If you don't use that knowledge, she will say you don't deserve that knowledge that I gave you. You go suffer. You go suffer physically. Where knowledge cannot even help you. This is what is called hell. Living on earth in hell is this is living on earth in heaven. Heaven on earth, hell on earth is the same thing. Where our mind only takes us to hell, where our knowledge also will not help us. Our knowledge takes us to heaven because we use that knowledge to ascend to heaven. A better experience. Our experience of God in these states is more quality life. Imagine that you get clarity when you want to exactly use that knowledge. You'll know exactly when to apply that knowledge. And the right person comes in front of you. It's not like he's always boosting your egos. And we are not talking about that kind of personality, but we are talking about the right opportunities come to you and the right people come to you and offer those opportunities. And the right awareness is coming to you to apply that knowledge. See, where there is knowledge, there is growth. But even when there is knowledge and there is no use of that knowledge because you are not becoming now eligible to use that knowledge, knowledge will be there, but you can't use it. How pathetic that is, no? That see, negative frequencies are so it's good to go behind knowledge, but you should also understand that knowledge is not the final destination. Knowledge, using that knowledge to cross the bridge towards God is your final destination. And expectations, likes and dislikes. I don't like to do this. Why? Why don't you like to do this? Ah, because I'm not comfortable. I want something more. There is something more. Yeah, whatever you're given, the universe thought that you deserve this. So the universe gave you that. No, but I don't deserve this. I want something else because my mind thinks that I am this, I deserve a BMW. I don't deserve a Maruti 800, so I'm not going to sit in this Maruti 800. I only when BMW comes, until then, I'm not going to sit and drive in this car. So this is what is called a demonic mind. I mean, not even an animal. Animal basically follows instructions. It follows whatever dharma it has been programmed for. I mean, demons are they have what do you say, screwed up intellect, which is not screwed up intellect. It is egoistic. It runs based on ego. So we are all in that state as of now. We must get out of this likes and dislikes mentality. it is impossible to grow from this mentality. Which is why I'm saying be a servant. Learn to be a servant. A servant does not use ego. A servant is only working like an animal. Animals are better than people who have big fat egos. So we have to first become animal like and do and serve God in whatever role God has given us. I mean, imagine that you are in his company. You've been sent here every morning. You get to, it's like every morning, let's say you go to a 9 to 5 job or something like that, and then you go to some company, you sit and do some coding or you do some work there, and whatever the work may be, dignity of labor should not be there. I mean, take Krishna, yeah. Krishna is God, okay? And in the in the Rajasuya Yagna that happened in Mahabharat, which Yudhishthira did, apparently, it is a very pious yagna where if so that king wins not by force, but it is more about saying you will work under me kind of thing. So that was the Kshatriya principle at that time. So it was the right thing to do. So he does that, and Krishna also participated in that. He was one of the main participants in that. He was also given. Everybody got some work, and Krishna, you know what work he asked? He said, "I'm going to wash the legs of every single person who comes, and I'm also going to clean I'm going to set a dining room. In the dining room, those days it was all putting leaves and then putting rangoli, and then everybody used to sit down. They would wash it with cow dung. All of that they would do. No, he did that. Krishna did that. He chose some of the lowest level of work that typically servants do, palace servants do. And he himself was a king of Dwarka, no? I mean, he was unbeatable kind of person already, even in his strength, in his wit, in his in everything he was unmatchable in his days. It's in those days, and everybody knew because he lived like that. He lived like as if he lived like, and he showed people that I am God. I am an incarnation of God. He showed that clearly. He showed in Rama Avatar he lived like a human being, but in Krishna Avatar he actually said I am God. Right? Despite that, he chose those low level works, which means imagine the absolute no dignity of labor. But Anita, coming to your question, you had that question about your uncle's job and all that. No, that you don't like to do this job, you don't like to do that job. I'm sure this is answering your question. I would say that when you work for God, there is no dignity of labor. You should be willing to work. In our house, we clean toilets, right? And when we go to office, why should we think that some other work is low? I'm just
It's
saying
actually not low, Smita. It is like I'm not
you're
very
not
interested.
engaged enough, right?
Yes, I'm
You
not at
should
all
go
eager.
talk to him and say, I think I can work more. So give me more work.
Yeah, he's actually ready to give whatever I want, but I'm not like
See,
I,
why
I'm
you are not happy is because you think you can actually do more. Maybe you feel I'm less for this job. I can do something more great, more
but I'm not
talented.
doing that. He's giving me full permission to go explore and take whatever job I want. I'm
Because he
like
doesn't
feeling
have any
afraid.
other job for you, maybe.
I'm
I mean, the
feeling
level of
lazy
job that you
also.
want. So see, I'll tell you one example, right? In my husband's case, what he did was I mean, he's very good in his job, and whatever job he's already doing, he's been doing that for quite some time now. But he has this exploring kind of personality by himself. So what he did, he went ahead and then he started. AI is the thing these days. So what he did, he went and started exploring and started learning AI, machine learning language, and all by himself. I mean, all by himself. 1.5 years back, he started doing that all by himself. And he started to build applications for his own personal use. He works on finance side. I mean, in his personal side, he's more into stocks and other things. So he started building apps for himself, not for selling or by building apps for himself, and then he's built some app where it will probably help companies. And then he has also put it on places where they can actually see and use. So something else he's done. So which means he has self-learned something. Recently, what happened in his own company, there was a competition, worldwide competition. He just said, "Ha, yeah, okay, now I can participate in this competition." And he just casually see he's a managerial kind of person, but he participated in a technical thing. Absolutely, in his life, he has never been a technical person. In none of his 20 plus years of job, he has done technical stuff. But in his, rather in his personal side, he does all technical stuff. Why? That mind is like that. He engages himself, he engages his time that way. And he won that competition.
That
Worldwide level, he
interest,
won it.
I'm lacking that interest in business at all.
Whatever it is that you're interested in, do it in your house, do it in your part time. See, who's saying that you have to work for that company only fully? But you should put your hours there. So do something where you can build more money for that company. Look for maybe starting some new services that your company can offer. I mean, it's a unless you're unless see, as long as you think that when they tell me something, then only I will do. Then you're more thinking that okay, if they're not telling me, they're not telling me, they're not telling me, they're not telling me. But why shouldn't you be that? Will your uncle, who is the boss of that company, say that if you come with a new idea and say some new sir, let's offer this as a service. This is the business plan. This is what we can do. You let's say have worked on it for 6 months. From your side itself, you can constantly keep building on this idea in your own time, in the company time itself. But because you're working for the company, you're thinking for the company, it's good and all that, it will still be from God's angle, you're still doing your duty only. So, see, you should work for pleasing God. God put you in this company. So, which means you're working for this company now. And for God will obviously be happy. So, it's enough if God is happy. So, when you're building on that, no, and tomorrow after 6 months or something, you took 6 months to work on that prototype or whatever it is that you are good at. Once you go and discuss this with your uncle with proper business plan, with proper execution, I need so many people to work on this, and this is how it is done. But do you think he'll not be happy? He doesn't have ideas, but he is
He'll be very
definitely
happy. Yes,
he'll
he
be
will be very
open for
happy.
people with good ideas. See,
Yes,
sometimes
that
no
he is.
people, old people, they will be very saturated with their own life and they say, huh, so okay, I'm getting enough money, so I'll just run this business as long as it is running. No need to expand it or something. They'll be like that. They'll be in that saturated mode. But they will really appreciate when young minds are coming up with new business plans, business ideas. He is definitely
Actually,
so. It is
he's
important
very
that
supportive.
you should ask yourself, why am I still here? Why am I still here? We are every action in our life, or rather every POSC in our life is because God has approved it, which is why it happens. So if I'm here, it means God has approved it. And he still hasn't given an approval for me to exit this company. So who am I to take off from the company because I don't like this job? All of those, or they're called in Hindi, it's called manmani, which means the running behind likes and dislikes. So you should basically teach yourself why it is important for me to do this job, because obviously I'm still not out of this company.
Sure, Smita. I'll think
Okay,
in this.
Anita, I am going to log off at
Yes.
6 o'clock, definitely.
Thank you. Thank you.
So okay, that is the thing, Anita. Sorry, not Anita. Yeah, Anita. Right? So yeah, expectations we've covered, then desires and all of that we've covered. So you're coming to your question, Roshni. See this physical pain, all of that. No, it is again because of blocked energies. Again, limited energies that we have piled up in our body. So physically it is good to raise our vibration, but we may not have enough in a certain frequency band that we have. We may not have enough awareness to go to a level where those will basically go off completely, which is why installment wise, we are doing acceptance, 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 acceptance. See, there is this, our Gita teachers talks about this tat sukh sukhiya bhav, which means, God, if you are happy, then I'm happy. God, if you're happy when I'm in pain, why am I in pain? Because something is getting released. Something is coming to your awareness. It's a trigger. How are you going to use this trigger? You're going to apply your knowledge and all of that. So which means whatever is happening is the right thing. So now, if you do that the right way, God is going to be happy. So if God is happy, I'm going to be happy. So God, if you are going to be happy when I'm in pain, so be it. See, otherwise, what is the, I told you, right? You can't remove pain from more painful experiences by going into negative energy. How can you do that? Because pain itself has been received from a negative state. How can you remove? You can't do that. No, you have to go into a positive state to remove it, to put awareness, to put acceptance. From a physical perspective, it is good to check if you are on a, let's say, a lot of juices, because liquid medium in the body helps to move the energies. Even if you're putting acceptance, but that is also getting clogged because there's a lot of density in the body, it is good to have juices which will sort of release. And it is good to have movement in the body. You need to move the body through some exercises and all of that. So movement and a lot of liquids, not just plain water, lots of juices, maybe 1 to 2 liters of water, juices every day, from ashgard, watermelon, cucumbers. Bring lots of greens to it, add lots of lemon juice. So when you're bringing movement from all these 5 elements that are there in nature, then the energies will sort of start moving, like how Bhagirath got Ganga to the earth. Pain will also start to get reduced. But pain in the joints and all that also come because your muscles are not strong. Because of sedentary lifestyle, muscles atrophy as we start growing old, because body is not going to become a young person doing all the laborious activities as the body expects that you will not use it so much. Plus, we have a lot of draining mindsets, like I explained in the beginning of the class. So muscles, we grow old even more faster. So when we are growing old even more faster than our physical age should, then the muscles atrophy even more. So because of that, bones get impacted. Because bones are only for structure, they are not meant for strength. Strength comes from muscles. All the activities that we do comes from the muscles. If you have not focused on strength training and other things, being physically active, it will get impacted someday or the other. So there are people who don't care about the body, but it is important to understand that the same body will take our attention if you don't give it attention today. It will take our attention like you can't, all 24 hours you'll be with your body only. Then what about this body being a vehicle for your sadhana? Then your sadhana became taking care of the body. So it should never be like that. You should always use the body, keep it fit enough. And that is also a dharma, which is called a part of swadharma, to keep your body, which is why all the shastras are absolutely against suicides and things like that, because you cannot destroy the body. You have no right to destroy the body. You can't put yourself in harm's way knowing that you will die. Accidentally it happened, it was anyway, it will happen as per the exit path. But you willfully cannot go put your body in a harm's way, because that is against the rule. Its body is not even yours. It is being used as a vehicle. It is given to you so that you can grow yourself spiritually. But you are not having any power to kill that body. But then we have done everything in that limited mind state to take that body to destruction. So all of these diseases also reflect the kind of inability to do the right dharma, swadharma, self dharma. So we are still in that cycle, can't help it. So at least to some extent, you have to go towards higher frequencies from a food and drink perspective. And and do physical activity. You can't just get up in the morning, do all your housework, do all your committed work, sleep. No, that is not possible. You have to do something to take care of your body also. Okay, and somebody talked about husband-wife relationship. I've already spoken about that when I spoke about Lakshmi energy and all of that in the beginning, maybe some fourth class or fifth class or something. I request you to go see that again and then come back, because I don't think you have a question. You are more having a curious mindset here, I think. It was not a question. But please, Hema, take a look at it, and if you do have questions, please post it again. Any clear questions about what is it that you want to know? Yes, Kirti, I have exactly 10 minutes because the Zoom owner wants it.
Uh, I want to understand more about building habits and acceptance with existing ones.
Building
Okay,
habit,
like I'll take
acceptance.
my thing for example.
Your question was breaking up because your maybe bandwidth is not good.
But
Can you just
building,
switch off your video? Can you switch off your video and then ask the question again?
okay. And can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have this doubt between self-acceptance and wanting to be better. When I say wanting to be better, first thing that is in my list is habits. Okay, now I am somebody who is a hoarder or a I love scrolling. Okay, now from this fight of scrolling is bad, still I do it. It's been an ongoing fight,
The
not just with
reels,
scrolling.
the reels, Instagram
Yeah,
and all.
reels or whatever. That kick that it gives me, or some series or something, that kick that it gives me is so satisfying. Okay, temporarily, though I know it is not ideal, because I have had like fibromyalgia for years, then I tackled it, then I didn't, then I went into healing. Beautiful 2 years I put my time and energy into working on myself, emotionally, in all ways, through spiritual sadhanas, through chakra healings, meditations, and food, and other journaling things. So it was amazing. But now again, so I thought my era of scrolling and all that is gone. There was a time when I thought, okay, maybe, oh, that is left me. But
See,
now I
we are not in a frequency or frequency band where we can expect that something that we have done is going to go away.
Mm-mm.
It is going to always come back. Let's say today you
Okay.
have done some acceptance, and that you saw that changing in front of you. The POC is now changed and the relationship is okay, everything is done. But you will find yourself in the same position, but what you applied in the past will not be there, because in the same issue that we have with the POSC, there can be different levels of healing that is necessary, different high frequencies of belief systems that we carry. We may
Okay.
have worked on one belief system where it maybe we did acceptance at that moment and then it worked. But in the next future, with the same person, similar issues might prompt. And there, what you applied, the logic that you applied in terms of acceptance and all may not work again. You have to find a new way. You have to like brainstorm and use your new knowledge that has come in the interim period. And you have to do. Coming to what is how to build new habits. See, now that you have addiction to screens, the way I would, if I were in your place, when I do that, the way I have tackled it is, I try to listen to podcasts which are more related to God, which are coming from YouTube and other things. So for me, screens are there, but I have chosen to hear things that are still going to help me grow, give me that knowledge. So to some extent, it will help, because suddenly taking a person off screen is not going to help. You have to still be on the screen unless you have like great willpower to get off screen. You have something else should be pulling, the desire to
Yeah.
get dopamine from screens is not there. But there should be something else that should probably tell you that has more dopamine, because we are still running behind desires. So I would say that in the screen itself, look for something sattvic. And
Can I interrupt
tell
you here?
yourself, and in on Instagram and Facebook and all, there is a in the settings, you can actually set a timer to say switch off. There is a timing restriction you can do. Go and look for it. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. There is a timing restriction. When that actually pops up, it will not close off the app. It will pop. It will tell you close. It's time to close the app. At that time, you should be willing to close the app. If
Can
it
I
is,
interrupt you here? 1 minute. This used to be there. I used to binge content of what spiritual speakers, leaders, and everything around God, and I used to do that for a long time. Now I have reached a point where I'm, you know, filled with that, and I want to take a break. And now suddenly the shift of Netflix thing has come. Now
how
what
did
I'm
you use
trying
all
to
of that? How did you use all that knowledge in your life? Like I said, knowledge is not the final destination. I mean, I'm telling that, let's say, take a student. A student is now attending all the classes. He has been very great in the classes. He has been answering the teacher, everything. But in the examination, he did not do anything. He didn't write anything. He didn't get marks. Will the teacher fail him, or she will look at his great, let's say, behavior in the class and all of that and pass him, fail him? This is what we are. Your knowledge is absolutely garbage. It's called spiritual garbage. It is literally garbage. Anything that you take in without making use of it is going to be garbage. So any spiritual knowledge should basically should make you more serious towards going to God, make you love God more. When you hear some things about God, you should be willing to, let's say, they will give you some small practice. Do this ritual, or let's say light a lamp, whatever it is that they're telling you. Or maybe some shloka they told about some shloka, importance of that shloka. Start doing that. Start doing that. That application of that will start building you and taking you to higher frequencies. If you have not applied any of that spiritual knowledge, you're still on the sailing in the same boat, which means you have not moved an inch. Like I said, nobody is asking you to get out of the demon kingdom. People are very happy if you're there. Our co-demons are very happy if we are there. But we want to go there towards God kingdom. We don't want to stay here because we know we have now got the knowledge that that kingdom is far more better. So we have to make an attempt to get out of this state, no? So that is why I say the goal has to be very, very strong within you. My goal for God and moksha has to be very strong, that He is my everything. I need to make Him happy. If He's not happy, like, done deal. I don't care about anybody. That kind of desire has to come. That burning desire has to come. And which is why all this gyan is there. Any gyan that is talking about God is tattva gyan. And then if if that is really entering your head, you should actually follow it. Okay, I need to maybe close off now because this Zoom has to be taken. And if you have further questions, put it in the group. I'll definitely answer. Okay, thank you, friends.
Thank you, Smita.
Thank you,
Take care.
Smita.
Bye-bye.
Thank
To Supreme God, I thank you for your divine blessings. To my spiritual teacher, to all the spiritual teachers, holy masters, all the saints, holy angels, spiritual helpers, and all the great ones, we thank you for your great blessings.